Hi everybody, this is a quick tutorial for students on how to join a Google Classroom. Many of you have used Google Classroom in the past, so this will not be new to a lot of you, but the important thing to know is there are a couple of different ways to join a Google Classroom, and individual teachers like to do it a little bit differently. So it's important that you know how to join and so that you are able to get into your Google Classrooms and get the information you need for a successful start to the school year. So while teachers have to do something on their end, there's also your responsibility to do your piece of it to make sure that you get into the classroom. So let's go ahead and look at the two different ways you may join. Hi everybody, this is a quick tutorial for students on how to join a Google Classroom. So many of you have probably used Google Classroom in the past, but what's really important is to know that there are a couple of different ways for you to join your Google Classroom, and really depending on the teachers and depending on what the schedule looks like for the fall, whether we'll be in distance learning or face-to-face, there's just a lot of variables. So it's important that you know the different ways to join a Google Classroom so that you're responsible for getting. So the first thing is on your school iPad, you're going to go ahead and look for the Google Classroom app, which most of you have probably seen before. It looks like this. If you don't see it right away on your iPad, what you'll do is you'll look for the self-service app. And that looks like this, and you can go ahead and click on that and you'll see a list of apps available to download onto your iPad home screen. So look for the Google Classroom app first. If you don't see it, then go ahead and download it from self-service. And then the other important thing to remember is that you really want to make sure you're logged into your SPSD ME account. And if you don't know how to access that, please go to Mrs. Davies' website on the main school page, and there's some information there on the student resources section. So make sure you are logged into that account, or things will not work very well for you. So let's go ahead to the next slide. Now, when you first get in there, you may see no classes at all, and you might see a screen that looks a little bit like this, and that's okay. So a couple things to pay attention to. You want to make sure you're in the right account, because if you're not logged into your school email, they might not show up there. So you can verify that just by looking up here and seeing which Google account you're logged into. But if you see nothing here, that's okay. It just means that your teachers have probably archived all of your classes, all of your old classes that you're used to seeing there. So that's okay if you see a screen like this and you have verified that you're in the right account. So what you'll do is go ahead and just click down on the plus button to create or join your first class. The other you may see when you hit Google Classroom is one that looks like this. So this would be a situation in where you're seeing all your old classes or seeing classes that you're currently enrolled in. And that's okay too. Some of these might be classes from previous year, and just means your teachers haven't archived those yet, and that should be coming shortly. So you may see some classes disappear from your Google Classroom list. But it's okay if you see a bunch of classes on there. You still want to join your classes for this year though. So again, you're going to go down here to the plus button, you'll click that, and then you'll select Join Class. Now, as I mentioned before, there are a couple of ways that teachers may provide you with the information to join the class. The first is a class code. Okay, so a lot of teachers like to use this. And this was used in the past when we were face-to-face with students, and teachers would just project the class code or give you a little slip of paper with the class code so that you could enter it here. In remote learning, your teachers may email this code to you, so it's important to check your emails, or a lot of teachers will post this code on their website. So they'll have the class section listed and then the class code next to it. So what you would do is you would just go to that website, copy the code, and then type it in here to join the class. So this is if teachers are using class codes to join the classroom. The other way is teachers can individually add students because we have all your emails built into the whole Google ecosystem. We can add individual students to the class. And so if a teacher has added you to the class, you still have to join on your end. So if a teacher has added you, you may see the class show up like this, but it's important that you go ahead and join the class, because if you haven't joined it yet, it just means you've been invited and the class will still show up here. But it's important that you do go ahead and click join the class. So those are the two different ways. They may send you a class code or they may send you an invite. Either way, there's going to be a little bit of work on your end to either enter the code to join, or to, if they've invited you directly, you open the app and you'll see it here. You will have to click the join button. So go ahead and try those things with your teachers at the beginning of the year. And if you're not having success, you can always email your teachers, and they are always willing to help.